Hello troops, Tommo here, back from Amsterdam. A beautiful 4 days off and it's well needed. But it's also been a whole week without an episode. So joining myself today is obviously my co-star now, / producer, Darren Thompson, aka Little Brown. But before we crack on into this episode, I just want to do a few shout outs. Combat Fuel, helpers of the design of the t-shirt that I am rocking right now. The limited edition, one time only Granite Zero t-shirt, which you can get if you email me or DM me for the gen. But you're saying, Tommo, I also want some products from Combat Fuel. Treat yourself to that. You can also treat yourself to 15% off with the promo code Warrior15. You're welcome. And you're saying, Tommo, mate, I would love some roast to order coffee. Roast to order. Ground specifically to my taste. With a sweet taste at the end of it. Tell you what, troops, go and see my boys at the Dead Mammoth Coffee Company and treat yourself to a veteran-owned, veteran-run, beautiful roast coffee that is absolutely fucking delicious. And if you're like me, you suffer from depression and anxiety and you wonder what sort of things can I do to help put a stop to some of these horrible feelings that you have. And you might even suffer from a few aches and pains in your knees, your ankles, your wrists, any sort of joint. And you're like, I've tried everything. Have you tried CBD oil? And if you haven't, then you should. And if you want to, you go straight to the fucking UK's leading CBD oil company, and that is Infusion CBD. Go and see them. Try out their stuff. I personally use it. So get amongst it. You're welcome. Now, without further ado, it's time for you to join me and Little Brown, the Brothers of Destruction and Legion of Doom, the D-Generation X, the Road Warriors, in tonight's episode. But Tommo is giving you an absolute gift, and that is a special guest by the name of Mason the Dragon Jones, undefeated lightweight contender for Cage Warriors. So, without further ado, welcome to the Granite Zero podcast. Hello, Charlie 1. This is Granite Zero.
Like, now that it recorded, I was like, oh, fucking hell. And go back into it again. That's the worst, isn't it? When you have to literally go over exactly what you just spoke about again. You know, and it's trying to make it seem natural, that's the thing. Because, like, a lot of things now, I knew what you were going to ask, and I knew sort of what I was thinking last time.
Yeah.
So remember what to say, and rather than just let it go, like.
I've been there so many times. I've done it in the shed where I've come down for my man minute, started my podcast on my own before I started getting my brother on, and I'll be sat there. I'll record 45 minutes, an hour, and then the missus will phone me or something because I record it on my phone. And it cuts the whole thing off, and it's like, for fuck's sake, now I've got to do it all again. And sometimes I try and upload it to the it's Podbean we use that it uploads to. Every now and then it just decides, nah, I don't fancy it. It's like, oh, cheers for that. And then, well, what was it? How good was the one we did on holiday? We recorded one on holiday, and I literally had the backing music the whole way through it. So it was literally ecstasy of gold, and we were pretty pissed as well, to be fair.
Yeah. Right, so I'm just going to do a quick record test. I'll hang up, check the video, Perfect. And we'll just start from there.
Sweet, mate.
I'll text my missus now, just tell her not to ring me. She'll ring me after class, so give me 2 seconds, I'll just do that.
Yeah, no problem, mate.
Go
Oh, that's the best way for it. Yeah, I did 5.5 years with the RAF regiment for my sins. Yeah, officially the most hated regiment out of everyone, I think. Yeah, so we get shit from the paras and the Marines and the rest of the army for being just who we are. We get shit from the Air Force because we're not properly the Air Force. We get shit from the Navy because they're the Navy. It's like, give us a break.
One of the boys is in the Navy and one of the other ones is in the Army. They're both engineers, and like they rip each other. Like the one calls the other one a Pongo or something.
Pongo,
like
yeah. Pongos.
Pongo and dirty Pongo and all this, and they rip each other, and I'm like, no clue what.
Yeah. I'll try and keep the squaddy slang down to a minimum. I always slip back into it. It's like, and then my missus is like, you're like talking a complete another language. I'm like,
different language, yeah.
My boss at work's the same. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, all right, fucking hell. Yeah, Pongo. Good nickname.
We was also saying to him, like, the only reason he wants to leave is sort of the money side of things, because he's only getting less than he could outside the military.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the other boys in the Navy, and he wants out because he wants to be home. He sort of had a good girlfriend, and she sort of finished him because he was away with the ship for like 9 months, and he was like, I just want to leave.
Yeah.
So he put his chin to leave, but it's like, obviously they just gave him new training, and they didn't really want him to leave, so he's waiting for it all to sort of time out so he can come out.
Yeah, that's it. I've always said, I've said it enough times on the podcast. I see the military as a single man sort of game, really, because I left because I wanted to spend time with my missus and kids. Like, I did 3 deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, and then and then it was like getting ready to deploy for the next one. I was like, I can't do that again.
Yeah. Well, that was when I talked to them. Like, neither of them are deployed anyway. The one that just done like little, sort of like most of his training with the engineers and stuff, and they were all about sending him away, but he just did the minimum as possible. I was just left to stay in the army. He said he didn't want to do any extra training because the more training you do, the more chance you get sent away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It also like sort of stops certain career paths as well, because towards the end of my my time, I became a radio man. Basically, I was a signaller, and as soon as you get that qualification, it sticks with you for life. Then it's like, well, I want to go off and do this, and like, no, you can go off and do this instead. It's like, go play with them. Yeah, it's like, fucking hell. But
the other one, who's in the Navy, he did like a 9-month tour. They took him like I can't even tell you where he went. They took him everywhere. It was like he was away for 9 months, and he ate he struggled a lot with mental health just from it.
Yeah.
My missus talks a lot. My missus meets him for coffee all night. I does because my missus struggled a lot with her mental health.
Oh, right.
Like when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, awesome, because she suffered. Like, she's a lot better now. But when we first got together, we met before I went to America the first time.
Yeah.
We've been together nearly 2 years now, but like, we knew each other a little bit through my S&T coaching, and we ended up. She seen it in one of my fights and ended up sort of like giving me a look, and I was like, and I was sort of like seeing a couple of other girls on the side, and nothing serious. And then I dropped her a message after falling out with one of the girls I was seeing, just because like one of the ones I've seen one girl like more regularly than the rest, and we sort of fallen out. I was just like, I'll have a look now. So I started dropping a couple of girls messages.
Yeah.
So I met her for a cup of tea, and that's how British do me. Met her for a cup of tea, and we ended up getting on a house on fire. Well, I was going away, so like a week after we went out, I was going to America, so she would FaceTime me all the time, and it was like really late, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning there. Well, I just assumed she was in uni because that was what she told me she was doing. So I didn't understand. She had insomnia. She was sleep depressed, suffering from. She had crippling anxiety, which she still does.
Yeah.
And she was struggling with her sleep pattern, and like, she was in the British team for Taekwondo, the Olympic team, doing like really well for herself. she was trained as a nurse, and it was just too much. She had a mental
Too much,
breakdown
yeah.
and tried to kill herself. So,
Oh, shit.
like, it's something I live with, obviously dealing with them too, and other people in my life is something I'm quite used to. And obviously, I still don't understand because I've never been through it myself, and I always, like, they always make that clear that unless you've gone through it yourself, there's no way other people can appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a strange stigma that, like, a lot of people don't understand that because they can't see it. They're like, well, how do we know that you're not fucking taking the piss?
Put it on,
Like, like when I first started the podcast, I had so much, yeah, you'll call it trolling and hatred from people that I served with within my regiment, because they were like, how can you have it, sort of thing. Stop lying. It's like, well, I'm not lying. Well, why would I lie about that? And
it doesn't have to make sense. The thing is, like, you can have a perfect life and everything can be going perfect for you, and you can
yeah, exactly.
crippled.
Well, a fucking huge example for that. I've always sought out for it. It was Tyson Fury, like top of the world, won the heavyweight fucking championship, and then decided to try and kill himself. So
yeah, and Ferrari Bridge, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I read that.
It's supposed to be a good book. His book.
Yeah, it is supposed to be a good book. I'd be interested because I wouldn't think he's the type of person to be able to write that himself. Look, so I'd be interested to know how much he did to himself, because obviously traveller and stuff, and
yeah.
if he sort of orated it to someone and they managed to do it all for him. But I'd be really interested in seeing it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm reading it.
You back there, mate?
Yeah.
All good?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Well, me and Mason were having a good old chat there, mate. You ruined it. To be fair, I've already started recording most of that on the audio, so for those that will be on the audio version, they'll get extra. So treat yourself. Here's a gift.
I'm just waiting for both your videos to load. I've got. Oh, it's you.
Oh, that's
right. I've just got avatars.
I can see all three of you. All three of you, dickhead. There's only.
All three of us?
Yeah. Apparently, I'm still in Amsterdam. I'm still seeing extra things.
Oh, there we go.
Are we on?
Yeah. Let me start recording then. And we are live.
As it were. Right, so quickly, Darren. Please tell me you're wearing the t-shirt.
What, the Ground Zero?
No. The Dragon t-shirt, obviously.
Oh, no, it's up on the wall.
Up on the wall.
It's up on the wall.
Can't see it, though. Hiding it.
All I can see is a Liam Gallagher. Oh, there we go.
There he is, look.
It's up there. Oh, I know. Yeah, you dropped it off at the restaurant, didn't you? Oh, of course I did.
There you go.
Oh, I know where I recognise you from. The terrible name that takes his luck.
Pennies dropped. Because I thought it was like when I didn't realise that like you'd sort of met before, so I obviously pinged you the message on Instagram, and then I pinged Darren a message, and I was like, oh, I've got a guest lined up for tonight. It's a bit impromptu, but we'll just crack on and do it. He was like, who is it? And I was like, oh, Mason Jones, isn't it? He was like, I know him. I was like, how do you know all these fighters?
I got graded. I had my BJJ black belt Sunday. So my missus was like, where do you want to go to celebrate? I was like, oh, well, what food do you fancy? She was like, look, completely up to you. I was like, Beefy Boys. Straight away.
Winner. Big shout out for the Beefy Boys again.
Yeah, I don't like telling anyone to come in because I don't do it for sort of like trying to get free stuff. I just want to go there. Like, the food is just unbelievable. Like, that's the thing. We really love the food. So I don't want to keep messaging people and being like, oh, I'm coming up, like, as if, like, can you give me free stuff? So, one of the guys recognised me from the kitchen. I'm terrible, like I said, terrible with names. But he said, oh, do you want some, like, can we sort of anything free? I was like, no, mate. I was like, honestly, I'm fine. I was like, we only come up here for food, like doing that. But he ended up giving us, like, a bag full of hats and a couple of wings and stuff. So, it's rolled us again. Yeah, Saturday that would have been one of the owners, Dan, I expect. Saturday or Sunday was sure Saturday. Sure it was. Yeah, I was working all day Sunday, so yeah, Saturday. But yeah, Saturday. Yeah, great. It was Saturday night. But it's for us guys. It's always nice to have somebody that's doing something come into the restaurant, if you know what I mean. And it's always nice to make sure you're looked after. And it's I'm sure not all of the owners would be on board, but it is quite nice to show in.
Yeah. I tried sneaking in that many times now, though, and they caught me on every single time.
Yeah, well, because we've had the photos and stuff done in the restaurant, even the waitresses know. So if
I bet they do.
Sat downstairs, they come out and go, I think your mate's in downstairs. Well, who? The fighter. Is it Jack? No. The other one.
The other one.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. That's when like the last time you came in when your mate did the ghost chili wings. The ghost chili, the Hellboy. No, I haven't. I'll let you.
So funny. So we all it's really hard to get my friends to come out for meals and stuff because they're a couple of the boys in the fire service, the one's in the Navy, the other one's in the Army, and then the rest of them are either running their own businesses or they're flat out. All my friends left school. None of them went did university degree or college or anything like that, but they all end up in really, really good jobs and stuff. They've all done really well for themselves. So they're all flat out busy, and some boys work weekends or they work night shifts and stuff. So it's really hard to get everyone together. So after my fight, they were like, "Look, we'll get up and try and get loaded up for a meal." So my friend, the one my girlfriend meets a lot, the one who's in the Navy, he come along and he'd been in the pub with his dad all day. So
it was the Wales World Cup match, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was giving it the big I am. He drank 9 or 10 pints before he came out. Then he had another couple on the way up, used an Alba pickle he was. So we go up there and he was giving it the big one, and he seen these hot wings on the menu, and the waitress straight away was like, "Look, they are really, really hot. We have to warn you, they're really hot." And I was laughing. And he was like, "Oh," he's like, "No," he's like, "I'll do it easy. I had some curry from I don't know what he said, some supposed to be really hot curry that
it was a Carolina Reaper, wasn't it? He said,
and he was like, "I'll be fine." I'm edgeless. And then I was laughing. I was like, "No, boys, let him have it." So I was messaging Daryl, and he said straight away, he said, "Oh, do you want me to go easy on him or do you want me to go hard?" I was like, "No, kill him." So he piled them on, and he literally had all cocky. He had 1 or 2 bites, and then literally he was in the toilet, his eyes watering, kegging. His face was burning, his hands, and we were literally wetting ourselves. He backed all the toilet all the time, and people were trying to go into the toilet because it was disabled right opposite where we sat, and they were literally looking at him his eyes watering, crying, gagging, can't breathe. We were just all rolling.
Because when Mason texted back, I was like, "Are you sure?" Because the sauce itself is. But it's hot.
No, cheers.
And he was like, "No, kill him." I was like, "Well, all right," because we've got the ghost chili powder.
Oh, you're a cunt, you are, mate.
I don't think it was the wings. It was the burger, wasn't it?
Burger it was.
Oh, you had the Hellboy burger.
And and we've got a thing called the birth pocket.
The birth pocket.
Yeah, so
big black birth.
One of my best mates in the world is also a chef at the Beastie Boys, and he came up with this thing. So you know how the bun is cut in half.
Yeah.
He basically
cuts the bread out.
Well, sort of. He hides some of it, and this all started when the Hellboy sort of came about, and there was a few people who ate it, and they were like, "It's hot, but do you know what I mean? It's fine." And we were like, "There's got to be a way to make it live up to its name." So what he does is he gets the bun, the lid of the bun, and the base of the bun, and he puts his thumb into it, opens the bun out, puts the powder inside the roof and the base of the bun as a starter. So it wouldn't matter even if you
just ate the bread.
If you just ate the bread, what? It's full of ghost chili powder.
What's the fucking matter with you guys? Who does that?
The thing is with that burger is it does say it literally says do not order this burger.
The host
it says that and
warned him so many times as well. It was 4 times because he was pissed as well. She was like honestly, she was like, "Don't do it." And And he was like, nah, do it, almost winding him up. He was like, no, I'll smash you. He was like, no, honestly, like I have to warn you, like, do not do it. So funny.
You'll have to get
Yeah. What was he like the next day?
Ill. Yeah, but he had the Carolina Reaper carry the night before.
He was dead.
Then he had that, and he'd had like, I think he had like 14 or 15 pints by the end as well.
Fucking hell!
He was literally just in such a bad way. He reckon he couldn't go to the toilet. Like, he didn't go to the toilet for like a day. Oh, mate, it was so worth it. Because he turned up pissed as well. He was giving the big I am, but how much he drank. And we ate that, so we just literally just give him a... We give it to him like, and he was in hell of a pickle. Hell of a...
Is that like a mate from school, is it?
Yeah, so we all went to school together, and we've just stayed friends since then. So, he was he's in the Navy, still is now. So he goes away a lot, and he'd no longer been back. Only about 6 months ago, he'd come back from like a 9-month tour in the Navy. So he's like back and forth all the time, and he's trying to give his chip in to get out. He is. So we hardly see him, because he's based away. It's not long. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. So he only comes back on weekends.
Oh, fucking tidy that is.
Yeah, I've got plenty of mates that are military or whatever, or used to when I was a bit younger. Always the ones that be like, come on, we're going out to the piss. Oh, mate, I don't know about this week. But, no, come on. I don't come back very often. Come on. And you go out there, always the ones scrapping, always the one that's getting too pissed they can't get.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Prime example there.
Prime example, case in point.
When he came back, he was having some drama in his love life and a couple of different things, and we knew he was going to kick off. So he got hammered before we went out, and I don't drink. Like I haven't drunk in 3 years, 3.5 years. I just been teetotal since then. So I'm always the one who's driving. I'm always the sober one, and the one sort of like if anything kicks off, and the one dragging him out and taking him home. So we were just waiting for it, and I was ready to go home. My girlfriend was in the house and she wasn't very well, so I was like, look, I'm gonna go, but I'll just wait for Luke to get in a bit of trouble. As soon as he's done, I said I'll take him. So all of a sudden he got on the table and like swore his undying love to some girl, and she didn't take it too well, and he was arguing with her, and then the bouncer sort of grabbed him, and he ended up like putting two into the bouncer. And I was straight to him, like, going, please don't kill him, like, let me just say it. So, like, dragged him out, because they knew me, they was like, oh, I just take him from you, so I just dragged him out, chucked him in the car, and drove him home. So, they're always one of them, they just wait for it to explode.
Yeah.
Do you think you being teetotal will continue after you've finished fighting, or is it just a thing you don't like?
It has to be on together, really. I think it's one of them things. Yeah. It's always good to say I'm going to this and going to that, but you never know what time and what place I'm in my life. Like at the minute, it was just sort of one of the things where I never really agreed with what was drinking too much, because my dad always hammered into me that because I've always been competing at high levels since I was a kid. It was like always try to just dissuade me off it, and then I went so long without it that I used to sort of once a year I'd have a drink, and then obviously I always end up getting hammered because I'm drunk. And then I'm going, who's the biggest? All my friends, all the lunatics, and smashing drinks at me, and then I'd be spewing everywhere. And it seemed to be the only time I'd ever end up fighting out was when I'd have some drinks, and then it was usually someone would want to kick off, and I never really liked that sort of thing where I wasn't in full control. So I've always been sort of sober out, and it was just like 3 years ago. I was just like, I don't understand why I keep not drinking for so long, and then end up drinking. Like I had 18 months off, and then I ended up drinking again. And I just sort of didn't enjoy it so much. I think we went there. I went there. It was like when I went Ibiza, and I sort of didn't drink out that day. I sort of had a couple. I had the opportunity to sort of do it in the morning. I had a couple of minimum. The Austin boys tried to get me drunk, and I just did the minimum, and then. We went to Rise Festival, which is like a snowboarding festival, and I got hammered one day, and it was just sort of like, I'm done with this and never doing it again. Like, so I just never did this.
Definitely, I know that feeling. I always say I'm done with it, but I never do. I'm a writer. I'm terrible with a hangover, so. Well, you tapping your pencil at me.
I've been so many times sober, and I had a good night, and it was just sort of like one of them things where I was just sort of like, I got to the place where I was like, I don't really need it because I'm a bit of a lunatic anyway. So we was having way of time out and stuff, and even now, like the amount of times where I've been trying to give one of the boys a lift home, he's been speaking to some girl and she's like, oh, you can't go with him. And he's like, why? He's like, oh, he's right off his head. He's like, no, he's not. But they just can't sort of contemplate that you don't drink or you don't take drugs, and they just sort of don't understand it. And I've had it since I was young because I've always been sort of never really been interested in it. So I probably, in my entire life, I probably drunk less than a handful of times.
Yeah.
So I suppose you don't miss it then, do you?
No, unless you used to it and sort of you depend on it, it doesn't sort of seem regular. And to be honest, it was just sort of like one of my coaches is teetotal. He's been teetotal since he was 17, and I've never really been that keen on it. So now I don't go out anymore. It's a lot easier as well, because obviously that was the weirdest part with me going out single. Obviously, I'm used to speaking to some girls, and you're picking them up when they're a bit drunk, and it's sort of moral drama then, like.
Yeah.
Do you mean like, is it the right thing to do? Obviously, taking them home and stuff after they've been drinking, and as long as like I never really took a girl home, I had been speaking to them beforehand, so it was always that sort of thing. But tell you what, I had shit off the police a few times. Like I go out and like some of the girls I'd be speaking to, I end up like, giving them lifts back to mine, or I drop the boys home, and I got followed out of one of the clubs in Newport once by police officers, and got in my car, and they waited for me to get in my car, even though they see me swinging my keys around, followed me to the dual carriageway and pulled me over, and the copper came down with such a swagger on him, and was like, you've been drinking? I was like, no, I haven't. He was like, we just seen you come out of the club, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm not drinking. He was like, so breathalyze me. And then as soon as like he breathalyzed me, I didn't come up then. I come up as 0. He was sort of like, he was like, oh, he was like, you're just picking your missus up then. I was like, no, man. I was like, I've been out with my friends. I just don't drink. He was like, you've gone out not drunk. I was like, yeah. He was like, you know, like more fronted that I was sober driving the car than if I'd been hammered, like. So it's people got a weird attitude to being sober, definitely. And it's sort of like, it's one of the things where it's sort of like frowned upon not to drink and go out, and even more so I think than having a bit of a drinking problem, going out drinking all the time.
Yeah. It's obviously you're probably starting to get noticed quite a bit more now, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's only been the past year, maybe year and a half, that you can't really go. I know it sounds arrogant, but you can't really go somewhere without people like coming up and saying hello and stuff.
I don't think it sounds arrogant, mate. You're all over social media. I'm pretty sure you got today. I think I voted for you for Fight of the Year.
Yeah.
You're going to start getting noticed. Do you get the negative side of that?
No, not so much. Which would be a good story for you. So, my girlfriend runs a kickboxing club in Abergavenny, and
I have seen actually on Twitter. I did because I've seen your missus a few times.
Yeah.
In the restaurant, and I'm pretty sure, is it Taekwondo?
Yeah.
Or kickboxing? Yeah.
Well,
she's a badass, isn't she? She's a badass, isn't she?
She's competing at a higher level than I am. Still, to this day, she's competing at a higher level than I am. Like, she's got a Commonwealth Games bronze medal. She was one of the youngest females in Britain, I believe. I probably said this wrong now, when she was going to leave, to get qualification points in a major tournament. And obviously, I spoke to. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Mine, Sean.
Or Sean's?
Sean. Yeah.
Sorry, like I said, no disrespect, boys, I'm just really bad with names.
It's alright.
Don't worry.
I spoke to Sean about it and said about how obviously she's had with mental health issues while she was in university and while she was training with the British team. So she sort of had to take a year out and sort of evaluate what she was doing. But yeah, she was unbelievable. And if it weren't so much of the sort of the disagreements she had with the British team, I think she would have definitely been a shoe-in for the Olympics, 100%. Like the level she competed at, and the way she is now, and the way she fights is an excellent level.
Is she involved with mixed martial arts at all?
Not yet. I sort of tried to talk to her about it and stuff and see if she's interested. And one minute she's sort of up for it, the next minute she's not. She's dealing with a lot of things, and she does suffer from anxiety, so trying something new is quite hard for her.
Yeah.
But she's doing Muay Thai at the minute, and I think she's planning on fighting Muay Thai in May. So she'll sort of wait out That sounds terrible, like she's fat. She's not.
No.
Get her wing cut and sorted and stuff, and she'll fight an hour, and then I think obviously she'll start training a little bit more, and she's 20, so she got more than enough time.
Loads of time.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking loads of time.
So what's this? What's the story then of you being noticed out? Because I've got this thing in my head. Because I'm not sure if you'd know him, because he's a couple of years older than me. But the reason I know like Shakes and Tank, Chris Edwards, Jack Marshman, is all from a guy. He's a Polish guy that I got a random text message off asking me to do his strength and conditioning. Ages and ages ago. It's a guy called Chris. He's just got his brown belt in BJJ.
Do you know his second name?
Konieski.
Kostanetka.
Oh, look at you being all proper.
Terrible names. Like, I was really, really bad with names.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up in a second and see if you notice it. But I've obviously been going out to the clubs and stuff since I was about 15 years old. I always thought the bouncers you look out for are the ones with cauliflower ears or the ones that seem nice. Don't fuck with those guys. They got cauliflower. Just don't bother. Make them your mate for the night. The amount of people, because Chris isn't big, but he's heavy, and so he's a square. And well, he's actually, I think he's cut weight now. I think he's down to about a middleweight. But he always fought on all the Shakes promotions and he always fought either light heavyweight or heavyweight, and he's only like an inch taller than me.
Oh,
so he's roughly about our height, basically. The one night this guy was just kicking off, and the next thing, I've never seen somebody thrown around like a handbag in my life. And I literally stood there like, oh mate, of anybody in this whole building you could have picked a fight with.
Mate, it's happened to me so many times. We went out, I'll come back and tell the story about why the recognisation thing took it, but we went out with a friend of mine. You know Josh Reed?
Yeah, I know Josh. Great yours.
Brother? So, yeah.
I don't know Josh's brother, no.
No, his little brother went to school with me, so I know him for years, and we sort of double dated. I went out with my missus, and he went out with his missus, and he was like, oh, we'll just go for a quiet one. We ended up going to Newport then after they had a few drinks. And he was sort of getting rowdy when he was out, and he's lovely, but he's chopsy. So walking back, I dragged him all out because they were starting to get to a point where I was like, look, there's going to be some trouble in this. So as he's walking back to my car park in Newport, and as he's walking back, this like sort of tall, thin ginger boy was walking through, and I literally looked at him before I said, please don't say anything. And straight away he was like, oh, you ginger cunt. I was like, oh, but please stop. And this boy straight away looked at me, and this boy wanted to kick off. And I was like, please, man. I said, I'm just going back to my car. I said, I got into trouble. I apologise for him. Just leave it alone. But he sort of, I think it was probably the wrong approach. If I probably got nasty with him straight away, he probably would have backed off. Well, he straight away sort of stepped towards my friend. So I stepped in front of him and said, look, man, please leave it. When he looked at me and decided to take a swing, so I literally just foot swept him over my head, like flicked him up my head. Well, I straight away went straight for Ellis, that's Josh, and I was like, look, leave him. And the boy literally like killed him into a ball on the floor. I think he must have expected like to receive a couple, because all I did, I just sort of like sat-sided him, swept his feet, and he went straight over my head in the dank leg. I went straight where Ellis was like, look, leave him alone. Well, the boy killed him into a ball, sort of, I guess, and then he sort of like looked at me. And I got straight back up and started again. I was like, come on. I got friend over my head. And then I literally tried to drag my buddy away and said, look, I want to go home. And he's still not getting the idea, like. But in the end, he sort of got up and he was sort of like, my missus got rowdy with some girls who come with them. And these girls dragged him off. And I was just literally like, look, I'm never coming out with you again.
Love it.
But, this is the one you'll appreciate. So I went with my missus was running the club, and I was just there watching, and I said, look, I was like, do you want me to grab your coffee? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, so, hey, Jim, In and out of your venue, there's literally like your gym, and then you come out of the junction, there's like a roundabout, then there's another roundabout, and then you drive to the third roundabout, and then Costa Coffee's there. Like I could probably jog in about 4 minutes. It's that close. So she knew I'd only be like 10 minutes at the most. So I drove across, and as I was pulling into Costa Coffee, it's on like a new sort of they sort of like built it up. It's like a new part of our venue where they built it near where the dump was. So I pulled across there, and as I was coming across, there's like a I can't remember what the pub's called. It's like a pub who does that sort of like pub fare, and then it's like a travel on there. So as I was walking across, some guy steps, him and his missus steps straight down in front of my car. So I swerved around them and sort of like slammed the horn on. And this guy turned round and started jogging after my car. So my window was broken at the time, my car window. So I opened the car door and went, mate, what are you doing? Well, he just punched me straight to the car door. Like, no, didn't say a word. Straight away swung on me to the car door. I had shorts on, slides. So I literally just hit my seatbelt, ran him into a low signal, swept his legs out, passed straight to his car in the side. And I'd only fallen a couple of weeks before, so I had a bad hand. So I literally just hit him with a couple of sort of like amethyst, and the guy literally shit himself. Like I literally just took and his missus come across. So I expected his missus just to throw like a foot straight at my head or something like that. So I just keep my head down nice and low. Well, she come in. The gentlest ever. This is what made me stop more than anything. She come like 2 hands in my chest, like I'm so sorry, and sort of like lifted me up. So I just sort of like went with it, relaxed, and sort of backed off. It was like, look, what are you doing? Well, he got up, shit himself, so like 4 steps backwards, looked at me, and went, I know you. And I said, you're an MMA fighter. I went, don't start giving that now, you cheeky prick. I said, you just literally hit when you didn't do what. I said, I look like your skinny little blonde kid in the car. Do you know what I mean? Like, and my brother is 17, he just passed his test. I'm thinking, if he'd done that to him, or someone younger, do you know what I mean? He's done this before. Like, people don't just swing.
Yeah, you don't just go straight into it.
It's not something that's done, is there? So, especially when you're with your missus, if you're with your boys and they got a little rowdy, you can understand. But when you're on a quiet drink with your missus, like, you don't, unless you're sly like that, you don't do it.
Yeah.
He straight away, he said, I know you. I said, you're not a fight. He said, I'm going to ruin your life. I went, but what are you on about? Phoned him out, called the police. I've just been assaulted. I was like, but you for real? Like, we're in a car back, CCTV everywhere. So I jumped back in my car, left the door open, and just pulled into a parking space, obviously, rather than leaving idle in the middle of the road, in the middle of the car park. And he was like, he's just assaulted me, and now he's trying to flee the scene. He's going, and all this. So I go to the car, there's CCTV. I said, but there's CCTV everywhere. He just said, she ran at my car door, punching through the car. I was like, and now you give me the next one. He was on the phone to the police. As soon as he put the phone down, he came across and sort of like started on me again a bit. And I had my hands up. I said, look, man, I said, you can't leave me again. I'm just going to load into you. Like, when he didn't give it anymore, like, the things turned out. The police recognised him straight away. And the guy, the male police officer, like, knew him. And I just spoke to him. I said, look, I said, I've got a career I want to do. I was like, I can't be in trouble for fighting. I was like, one, it's not good press. And two, I was like, if I get charged with anything, I was like, that's my goal's done. Like, I was like, he literally assaulted me for no reason. He was like, I've just literally come to get my missus a coffee. Well, she had turned up in all this drama then, because obviously I had turned up in answer my phone, so she came looking for me. And
hopefully they thrown him head kicks.
He's lucky I didn't load into him, because it wasn't that like I was just going to put the boot into his head while he's on the floor, but it's not really the given thing. It's the thing, like I'm a fighter more than my girlfriend's a martial artist. I've always been a fighter. This is what I've done. Like, I've always wanted to fight people, and I've always been the same. And sort of when situations like I have, where especially when it's going through the back of your head, like, he's done that because that's the way I look, rather than. And he sort of, do you understand what I'm saying? He sort of, you could tell straight away he was a bully.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
People like that.
If it was Jack Marston sat in that car, he ain't throwing that punch through that window, is he?
No, all he seen was skinny white. My missus went these on. It was baggy on me. I had shorts on. I looked skinny, and he just sort of seen this skinny little blonde kid in the car look young and thought, oh, I'll beat some boy up in front of my missus now and give it the big one. And the way she didn't even react to it, that she sort of knew what was going on. And
Yeah, he's done that before.
It really went through me, did it? And the way he sort of stood up after it and said, like, it killed me because I couldn't remember his name, because I would have found out who it was. But he sort of shouted his name and said, you don't know who it is, he said. And he was like, I'll bloody burn your house to the ground. And he said, I'll cut your family up and all this. And I was like, mate, you see his eye? He said, I'll burn you. Like, I said, I don't mind, I'll just smash your pieces. Like, and he was just sort of like, oh.
Yeah.
It's just, I done a little bit, and I struggled sort of socialising a little bit, and I grew up and we always had friends, so there was always, like, when I was in primary school, those boys who sort of try and give it a bit, and I was always skinny in school, I was always tiny, and
you're not massive now, are you? You're not a big bloke now.
And then I built a little bit, I just widened out, but sort of don't have problems with bigger boys anymore, but it was just one of the things where I was always smaller than people. Like, I think I was about 5, like when I was in primary school, I was like 5 foot, nothing. I was always skinny. I was like a wiry beer build, and I wouldn't call it even, but I mean, he was just sort of like one of the boys in school who was growing up. He's been bigger than everyone else, and sort of he decided who could play football in primary school. Doing one of those sort of things. And I started training when I was 7, and by the time I was about 8, I remember he gave me a little bit of grief, and I hit him with a 3-punch combo, and that was it. Do you know what I mean? I never had any more shit off him. And then running through secondary school, I had a couple of encounters with boys who sort of grew up a bit bigger, and ended up having to deal with it. But by the time I was in year 11 and filled out a little bit more, I didn't really get any more trouble. And then I think I actually in puberty when I was 16 when I left school. And then by the time I was about 18, 19, I started to sort of fill out a little bit. And obviously I was still training, I was pro boxer at that time, but never really working on my hands, so I never really had much problems. We used to have like little bits of fights on the weekends. We used to fight all the time. We used to have little things. Most of the time I was sober, dragging the boys out of situations, and as soon as there's some little blonde kid who was like apologised to you, drag their mate away, they seemed to want to take swing. So it was always a weird thing that happened from one of the nights out. But yeah, fighting used to be terrible when I was younger. Another time I went out with my cousin, and none of the boys were out, because we always used to go out in groups of us, so there was never any trouble. I mean, when there's a big group of like 25 boys, you never really get much trouble. So it was different when we went out, and me and him went out, and I said, look, I'll come out with you. I said, but I don't want no trouble. And he was like, yeah, they want me no trouble. I said, look, I mean, I'm pro boxing. I was like, I can't get in trouble with anything, I'll get stripped. I was like, I don't need it. Yeah, it'll be fine. And I remember we walked in the courtyard in Newport, and we walked upstairs to the bar and had a couple of speaking to some girls and stuff, and we walked over the way normally people were, and as we walked through the side part, some boys hit me from the side, so I didn't say a word, just hit me from the side. So my cousin sort of went, like, obviously he got smacked the side, so I just unloaded into this boy, and I run him into the wall, dropped his head, and just threw some knees into him, like he was a big lump.
As you do.
It's my cousin's age, so I think I was about 18, 19 at the time, 18. And he was 4 years older than me, so he was, 22, 23. He was like forwards for Cumbrae Rugby, like a big guy. And I just run him into the thing, caught his head, just dropped some knees into him and opened him up. And that was the end of that. And about just he was bleeding everywhere. And I remember the reason he had fallen, my cousin had been sleeping with his ex-girlfriend, and he didn't like it, so he hit my cousin, and then obviously I ended up scrapping him outside, and we got kicked out, and my cousin ended up throwing a bit with him, and then my cousin took his ex-girlfriend home again that night, so
always winning.
He counted as a win then, do you know what I mean? So yeah, we used to fight all the time out, and it was just one of those things where I was always sober and always able to make sort of better decisions, and the amount, some of my boys look after me now, so they'll always have my back, like they come to all the fights, and they back me all the way through, just because like the amount of times I dragged on trouble or talked the police out of arresting them. Like my friend was in the Navy. We went out on Christmas do once. He'd only been in the Navy like 2 years, and he ended up there was a bit of like a truck gets kicked off, and he ended up jumping on a copper's back and sort of trying to wrestle the copper to the ground, and the copper cuffed him up and trapped him in. And I sort of talked to corporate and let him go with McDonald's and driving him home. So because he was like, I'm going to be in Colchester.
Yeah, I know someone who likes wrestling with coppers on the floor, especially on Christmas Eve, eh, Darren?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
I do. Darren was having a little scrap with a weedy little knobhead on a night out. You can't throw me under the bus on this one. I was trying to stop the fight for a change.
Wait. So, I've been going through a bit of a tough time.
Yeah, I'll let you have that one.
At the time. I literally, a month before, split up with my daughter's mum. And which is hard to deal with anyway. Massive again. I said which is massively hard to deal with. Yeah, it was awful. And me and Sean had been out. I'm not sure why you were back. Whether it was the Christmas thing or.
It was Christmas Eve, you Wally.
I know it was Christmas Eve, but I'm not. Because you were with Kate.
No, we weren't. Well, we were together, but not. That was I just got together with Kate, so she was coming up, like Boxing Day sort of time.
Yeah. Right, so me and Sean decided we're going out on the rip and
Get on it, like.
Proper on it.
I think Adam Crickmore was out with us. There's a few of the boys, and we ended up getting absolutely hammered, and we were stood outside a nightclub. And and when I say little, I don't consider myself little, but I am a little person.
Yeah.
I'm like 5'7", weigh like 75 kilos.
5'6".
I'm 5'7", and like to most guys that are out there, they're a good. Well, you're sort of height 5'10" to 6'2", aren't they? I'm a small guy, and this lad just started gobbing off at Sean, and I've got in my head, you only just passed out.
I was getting ready to deploy to Iraq. I was going to Iraq in February.
That was it. So it was a bit like, well, we're going to have our last drinks.
Yeah, celebrate. We're going home. You don't want it, do you?
And also it was Christmas. We got hammered.
Yep.
I'd obviously had all the stress of splitting up with Georgie's mum, and this lad starts gobbing off at Sean, and I just had enough. And I think at that time I just started training Chris, and Chris had said to me, "Do you want to start learning how to do?"
A little bit, yeah.
Learn how to do a little bit because, and Chris's thing always was, he said, even because I used to get, I hate saying it, I wasn't semi-pro at football, but I used to get paid to play football. And
you've got to count it.
Yeah, I can't.
Nah, you can't.
But Chris was always, because like if he'd get me to kick pads or anything, he was like, "Fucking hell, you can kick balls." He said, "I'm a light heavyweight." He said, I can feel you through these pads." He said, and I was like, "Mate, I've played football since I was 4 years old. Do you know what I mean? I know how to throw my right leg." And so he just started getting me into doing a bit of Muay Thai and BJJ, and was like, "Well, you know, if you enjoy it, then we can do a bit of mixed martial arts." And I was like, "That's fine, mate. I don't really like getting hit though, so, and I also I don't like being hurt in general. It's not a big thing for me, but I had that like beginner's knowledge of how to throw a punch, how to throw a kick, how to pin somebody to the ground using your hips, etc. Very basic. Like I would never ever say that I think I've got a good knowledge of mixed martial arts, but I doubt that I could put it into practice in the same way you could, even if I trained the same amount of time that you could. But this poor lad started kicking off with Sean. I'm his older brother, and I'm like, "You don't speak to my fucking brother like that, mate. He's off to Iraq in a minute." So I lamped him. He's now on the floor, and I get him in a full mount, and I've literally got. Have you seen Fight Club?
Yeah, proper. You got in on it like proper drop bombs.
But you know when Ed Norton's character just keeps hitting him, and he goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And he goes, "I just want to destroy something beautiful."
Yeah.
So I'm in that. I'm just wailing on this lad. A female police officer grabs me from behind, and my initial reaction then was just to throw my head back.
Yeah, but that's
so I fucking nutted.
Played herself either, so that's not her fault.
So I fucking nutted this police officer behind me, but luckily on her helmet, it wasn't like in her nose or anything.
Bring her nose everywhere.
Yeah. She's literally seen me batter this lad, and it was a battering, and I've to this day I feel terrible for it, because that was probably everything that was going on at that time in my life came out on this lad. I was worried about my brother going to Iraq. I was worried about what the fuck's going on with my daughter. This lad's just fucking had it all, She eventually calms me down and turns around, and I can hear it's a female voice going. Well, she's not saying Darren, but she's saying sir or. Listen, calm down. Calm down. I turn around. I'm obviously a bit fucking drunk, and she's like, calm down. I was like, sorry, I am calm. Immediately, a female voice. To me, in that situation, like, I've not fucking.
As well, do you mean? And you feel bad, like you always have that come down after it, where you think, oh shit, like just like.
Yeah, so I immediately calmed down, and she said, her words to me. Oh, I missed out a staple point of this actually, which I will come back to. I've missed out about 30-second thing.
That 30-second thing.
So Sean leant into me to get me off this lad because he's like, this is getting too far now. At the same point, this lad's mate who, well, let's just say he just took an FA Cup free kick at Sean's face, kicked him square in the face. I don't know this though, because I'm still in.
Still ground and pound.
I'm winning the UFC World Championship. I'm fucking welterweight at the time. I'm here TSP, you're gonna have it.
I wasn't. I was on fucking fight night.
At the time, Sean's got to grab me to try and pull me off this lad.
Like that. In the teeth, like.
And he's booted him right underneath his eye. And you know how your eye was after your last fight?
Yeah.
Sean got all of that, but it was like a blister
underneath his eye. Big black bubble, and my eye closed and everything.
I didn't know that though at the time. So this police officer's now like calmed me down. I was like, okay. She let me go. She's seen me firsthand this Christmas Eve batter this lad into oblivion. She's also seen him get kicked in the head. Yeah. And it was like, go on then.
Oh, go on.
I tell you what now though, I guarantee you she's probably seen some of the start of it. She's probably seen him mouthing off and starting it. They probably see some of the triggers. Like, they are human, and they see something, they let it go.
Oh, I've got friends and family members that are all police officers, and I will say some of them are a bit more leery, and some of them are absolutely class. The situations that they've talked about that they're in, and they're just going, listen mate, and you've got like the average person is going mad because the police is there, and they manage to calm the person down and like, it's like, listen mate, I'm a human as well.
Yeah.
I can see you're annoyed. Chill your beans a minute.
Yeah,
I know I'm in high vis and a stupid hat. but let's talk this out. Do you need to be arrested or not? Because if you carry on, you're going to be arrested.
Yeah. Tell you what, someone who needed calming down was Mum in the morning. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck have you been doing? You've been fighting again? I was like, actually this time Mum, it wasn't my fault.
It usually is though.
Yeah, 100%.
We met some class coppers through the years, so like my mum's friends, copper, one of the judo girls, like women, sorry, I shouldn't say girls. I knew for years, she was a copper, a police officer, sorry.
Don't worry about being NPC on this podcast, mate. I don't know which way to point.
I never went on a podcast. Who knows on your inside speaking to us again for this.
No.
Supposed to have an image up here, mate. But yeah, so we met some brilliant coppers through the years, and I also met some twats. Like that situation where that guy sort of started me outside of outside of Costa. The copper spoke to me on the phone. I'm adamant it was his friend because he called me back, and I knew some other information that I don't really want to say online. That sort of knew that it was official. It wasn't an official chat. And he called me off his personal mobile, and I knew it definitely had been. It had definitely gone through the police chat.
I'd be rung in.
I broke it in and said, look, if it does get put up on the system, can you let me know? And he's like, look, we'll keep an eye out and I'll check it. If it comes up in the system, I'll let you know so you expect to get locked up. And it hadn't gone through any system, and he rang me back and he was like, I watched CCTV footage. You got out of your car, took your jacket off, got to a verbal altercation with him, and then it ended up fighting him. I was like, mate, I didn't have a jacket on. I had shorts, flat sliders, and a sweatshirt on. He said, I don't wear anything on top of a sweatshirt. I was like, I was just going to get a coffee. I was like, and 2, I was like, he hit me through my car door before we even said 2 words. And he was like, listen here, blah, 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 I watched the footage and you didn't handle it as a trained martial artist. I said, mate, I said, what do you mean trained martial artist? I said, he hit me through the car door. I took him to the ground, restrained him. I said, slapped him around a little bit. I didn't cause any damage, no bleeding, no bruises. I was like, that's counted as restraint. And he hit me with a, I've been doing, listen here now, he said, boy, he said, I've been doing martial arts since before you were born. I was like, all right, no, yeah. I've been training 17 years, do you know what I mean? But surely you a 35 middle-aged man who clearly has done nothing in his life. So done 2 years of Tang Sudo, who's been doing it a lot longer than me. I was like, yeah, okay. My missus there going calm, and I'm like, yeah, no problem, no problem.
So he said, listen here, boy. Who talks like that?
Well, I tell you who talks like that. Our dad.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does say boy a lot, I'll give you that.
He calls me the boy.
But, well, there's a reason for that.
In a positive way or a negative way?
Well, he's the postman. That's...
It's not positive or negative, it's just...
I think he does it because he doesn't know the difference between our names sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to call him boy because I don't know which one I'm talking to.
Yeah, he's getting on a bit now, isn't he? But, no, basically, you wouldn't understand that inside joke there. Was if you look at my skin tone in comparison to, well, you and Sean...
We could be brothers, mate.
I look like a brother. So, right, to the point that when I went to do my passport last time, it actually came up with there is a colour issue. Now, I don't know if that was the quality of the photo or my face, but because I was claiming to be Caucasian.
You're not, though.
It's an ongoing joke. And Sean was saying, like, there's a reason why he calls me the boy. It's because I'm not actually his.
So my friends, they're brothers. The one's like blonde hair like me, same skin tone. The other one's got dark skin, black jet, black hair. And like,
but you find that a lot in Wales, though.
I'll tell you what,
You do find that a lot in Wales.
I've got a better one than that in a minute.
A lot of Italians that came over worked in mines, wasn't there, after World War II. That's because my mum's dark skin, and she's got like this. Well, basically, I've got the same complexion as my mum. My aunt's. This is where it starts getting squirrely. My aunt's got the same skin tone, but she's got slightly curly hair.
yeah.
Michael Jackson hair.
And like Rob, for example, our cousin Rob, he's got dark skin.
No hair.
He used to have curly hair. Now he's got no hair. So my mum's thing was that part of her family must have been
Italians.
like Italians at some point. Like they don't know when, but Sean's clearly got the
I got the Irish side.
Anglo-Saxon stroke Irish side of the family. It's really weird how it worked out though.
Yeah,
You got
it's weird, isn't it?
a 50-50 split, because me and Sean apparently look alike. Some people say, no, you don't. Some people go, yeah, you look like twins. It's mental. And then other people...
I can see the resemblance.
Well, Darren did a little screenshot earlier with half of his face and half of mine, and it just fits.
Yeah, it fits.
You're older than your brother, though.
Well, I am 4 years older.
So anyway, here's a good one for you. So I served with a lad who, he does listen to the show, to be fair. His name is Hakeem Leroy Marcus Benjamin, right?
Oh, so good split.
A fucking name.
Yeah, right.
That is the best
Right.
name I've ever heard in my life.
If you heard that name though, you would automatically go, he's got to be...
Didn't he do basics with you?
Yeah. He was at my wedding as well, right? He's...
Keep talking, I'm just going for a quick win.
Yeah. Whitest man you've ever seen in your life.
Really?
Yeah. His dad's black, his mum's white. He's come out completely white, blonde hair. His brother is black. But yeah, the best name ever. Hakeem Leroy Marcus Benjamin.
Shit.
Yeah. He's quite funny. It's either his dad or his mum. They're Muslim. So he took the Muslim religion as like for your dog tags and that, so it's got Muslim on there. And they have to get given special ration packs, so it's all halal and all that sort of stuff.
Halal, yeah.
However, he is the least Muslim person ever. Like, he eats fucking sausages, bacon, the lot. He goes out drinking, gambles. He's fucking top lad though, top lad. So if he is listening, he's fucking brilliant. He fucking cracks me up. Proper top lad, like. But yeah, so some of those fucking the fighting talk, like going out on the piss and that was me in a nutshell when I was going through training and like my late teens, early 20s. I was a fucking hand grenade, like Darren was saying, like squaddies on the piss. I don't know if it's the training that we do or the things we've seen and done and what have you, but there's that little switch that goes and it's.
Yes.
I was a nightmare for it. Like I said, my mum's saying to me, "Well, what have you done now?" That was like a typical Saturday night with me.
Yeah, I was
But
fighting with family.
but
Yeah, my older brother sort of like me, but I was always the one fighting.
yeah. Darren's had his moments, don't get me wrong, but he was never as leery as me. I used to call him the silent assassin. So where I'd be very upfront about it. If I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you. He'd like wait for his opportune moment and then strike. It's like, fucking hell, where'd you come from? Yeah.
No, I was always lucky so that we never really had any big incidents. The amount of fights I had growing up.
Yeah. I had a couple. I've got a funny story that I'll bring up when Darren gets back. But the other one was I was out with my ex-missus. We were out on a night out. We were having a good time. It was I think it was my birthday because I can remember wearing, it was a shit shirt night like Ricky Hatton does.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, so I was wearing this fucking outrageous Hawaiian shirt. But at that time, I don't know if it's still the same, but in Hereford they stopped hot food at night. So apparently they stopped doing hot food at night because it caused arguments and dramas. So what you would do, you'd go to the church and get a cup of tea or whatever. So
oh Christ.
yeah, so my ex-missus was in there getting a cup of tea, and I could see out of the window across the road at the money exchange shop. I could see this lad getting his head stamped on and fucking booted in. So I went over, just concerned citizen, and I realised it's one of my mates. So I pick him up. I'm like, "Fucking, are you alright, mate?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm alright." Like proper. And then this bloke was like, stood there being all fucking tough guy, and I was like, "Chill out, mate." And then his missus started gobbing off. I was like, "You're gonna put a leash on her because she needs to shut up." And then he fucking kicked off again. And the only way I can describe this fight was, it was like an ice hockey match, where I grabbed him and pulled his shirt over his head, and then just fucking gave him a couple of digs. He was wobbly. Next thing I know, I've double-legged him through the window of the money shop. Yeah. I've got back up, like stumbled back a little bit, thinking, what the fuck have I done here? The alarm's going off and everything. I was like, oh, I'm going to get arrested. Could see me ex-missus coming out fucking screaming. This bloke though, fucking, I don't know what he was smoking, I don't know what he had taken. He got up like the Terminator, pulled a piece of glass out of his head, and he was like, "You're going to finish me off then?" I was like, "I think you need to go to hospital, mate, because that's fucking ridiculous." Yeah. So I get like escorted over to the taxi. I get in the taxi. Next thing I know, I get a knock at the window from the police. The window comes down. I'm like, that fucking shit in my pants. I'm like, I'm getting arrested. This is proper assault right now. I've put him through a window. They go, "So what happened then?" And I went, "Oh, that lad pushed me, so I pushed him back." And they were like, "Is that it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they went, "All right." And then fucked off. I was like, shit a brick.
Well, but he had a bit of a problem, so we ended up having a little bit of a relevant tussle. I hit him with a 3-piece combo and I broke his glass. And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what?
Criminal damage, assault, ADH.
Yeah, I got back home. The missus was like, or the ex-missus, should I say? She was not happy with me. So every time you go out, I was like, I was actually trying to help out a mate, but it kind of went a bit backfired on me.
Yeah. It's weird, like, the most times I've ever had fights, and obviously if you have any younger listeners, always think this as gospel, is when I try to be nice. So the best way to handle it is if you're trying to get your friends out of trouble, pretend to be the nastiest, horriblest person.
Yeah.
And literally just give it like you're the most violent person in the world. People will leave you go.
Yeah.
When you like, if you give something snappy back or you try to be nice to people, people see it as weakness and they try and run all over you.
Yeah, they try and get over you.
Coming from a skinny blonde kid, whenever I avoided so much trouble just by being nasty. Obviously, until people started knowing who I was. When like after people know who I am, I don't get in trouble anymore. Like I'll sort of like apologize to people and be really chilled, and people generally do just leave it go. But like I ended up fighting like I had to fight Newport once where I was on my own against like 3 boys and fought toe to toe with 3 boys.
Yeah.
I had like brilliant scraps, and we was involved in like a massive brawl in Newport. Like there was like 25-30 of us against like 30 Newport boys, and all sorts. Like I've got some brilliant stories to tell my kids, but
yeah.
no big injuries.
Yeah.
Every time I ever sort of got in trouble with the law at one point, I ended up getting resolved, and it was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I never accidentally hit someone, because the amount of people, you know, like one of the boys I went to school with, his dad got in trouble outside one of the pubs in Garn, and the guy gave him a bit, and he hit the guy once, and the guy was dead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I saw actually I saw an advert for that on I think it might have been on Facebook. I think my mum shared it for some bizarre reason. But it's like one punch is all it takes or something like that, and I was like, good point. Yeah, but yeah, I totally agree with the old some of the stories that you can come out with and tell your kid. I wouldn't tell my kids. I've got 2 daughters, so they won't be knowing about my scrapping days. But yeah, I had a few in because basically you get all the shit from the civvy lot when you're out in areas that have got camps, because they think they can get one up on you. I remember going out in it was either Ipswich or Cambridge, I can't remember where it was, and there was a group of civvies that were giving it large to one of my mates who was literally just on the dance floor dancing away, and this bloke's giving it large, giving him a few shoves, so I thought, oh fuck this, and I just pinged him. Pinged him on the dance floor, and then they were like, Tommo, you should have done that, there's loads of them. And I was like, wow, I like my odds. Yeah, so now Darren's back, I can tell you this story because I still blame him for it. So we're out in a nightclub in Hereford. I think I'm still banned from there from this, but who knows. So there's always been a unwritten rule: if someone shouts naked bar to a squaddy, they gotta get naked. So me being an idiot, after Darren shouts naked bar, I start stripping off. Managed to get all the way down to my trousers to around my ankles, or my jeans around my ankles, and I get a proper shove from one of the bouncers, and I was like, whoa, stumbled back. I went, look mate, I literally just done my security course through the military, and I was like, look, you've got to use minimal force. You can't keep shoving me like that, that's not minimal force.
Or identify yourself.
Yeah, so he tried to grab me again, and at this time I just literally barely did any of it, but I knew a couple of throws. I just started judo with the Air Force. So I grabbed him and I judo throwed him over my shoulder. He's on the floor and I went, see, told you, minimal force. Next thing I know, I get 4 of the bouncers come and grab me. Darren's there going, nah, I'll just take him home, he's fine, he's just pissed, he hasn't done anything wrong. They grab Darren, take Darren out. They drag me out, give me a bit of a pasting, fucking cuts all over my face, I'm in some sort of crucifix position, getting a shoe in. Bearing in mind my trousers are still around my ankles, so they fucking let me go eventually. I stand up and I literally, the only thing that can come out of my mouth was, do you mind if I pull my trousers up now because it looks like you've raped me? So I pull my trousers up, stumble back outside, and then there's Darren in another crucifix position over the railings of this nightclub, and I was like, fucking what are you doing to him? And next thing I know, I'm kicking off again, trying to stop him from squishing him into a ball. And that could have all been avoided if Darren hadn't shouted naked bar, so it's all your fault.
Darren's fault.
It's always my fault. With Sean, it's always my fault.
Training into the circuits, like you meet enough bouncers, and they always give the same advice, like doormen are not nice, and just 1, try to stay on the good side of them, and 2, if it does, never leave your body, get dragged up on yourself.
No. Well, to be fair, Darren tried to stop him, but
Aaron's fault for that.
yeah. So Darren tried to stop him. To be fair, they managed to take me out with 4 of them, and then the other 2 took Darren out. So
When there's only 2 of you as well, and you,
yeah.
like, that was right. We always went out in groups, and like it was always one of them things with the bouncer would be cool with us because everyone of my friends would go like, and we was always like smallish boys, slamming boys. Like all my friends were always scrappers. Like we grew up scrapping, and everyone on the own land themselves. So we sort of like the bouncers knew that they were willing to go. So we always had a good relationship with them because when they know that if anything happens, you won't cause trouble, but if trouble comes, like you'll go for it.
Yeah.
They're understanding and they respect a bit more. So we always got our eye on the door staff. Like obviously I had a few disagreements with the boys being knobs, but we were always down with them and they were always down with us most of the time.
Yeah, fucking switched on.
So, you're doing a few hard sparring rounds, have you, mate?
No, which I
Which one?
That's what I mean. You can see it on your nose and both your eyes.
Let me have a look in the light. So, from where I got cut in my last fight, my eye keeps going black. So, let me have a look. This eye keeps going black from where the bruise was. And this one of my ear, with my eyes a little bit thick up there, my little cousin decided to headbutt me in the face today. So he's, so I was play fighting with him. And, the little bugger stuck the head straight on me. So, I should have been prepared for it.
He went old school rules on you.
That guy man was like, oh, for God's sake, like, yeah, when I had this scar in the last one, my eye just keep going back all the time, and I think it's getting that point where I got 2 big scars underneath, a little bit of, when I get a little bit warm in here, and it's warm in here, my face goes sort of, weird colours.
Do you think that'll be a problem going forward?
I had this one cut in March, and I fought twice, and it hasn't reopened. This one, was matching my nose. The reason my nose looks so messed up, the reason you haven't shown the light, is because my nose literally does this.
Oh.
Fucking hell. So you got no cartilage then?
No, I when I was a kid, I got my tonsils taken out. My tonsils lining my nose, and I think they must take a little bit of the cartilage out. And then from boxing, it's just the rest is gone. So I got a bounce back nose. So
bounce back nose.
I got a bounce back nose.
Bounce back nose.
I like that. That's good. That. Fucking bounce back nose.
That's why I tried to learn to move my head because I can't really get any eye clear. If I get any eye clear, I mean I can have a problem. Like so, when I box, my boxing coach always said I had the worst head movement going, so I spent loads of time working on my movement, my head movement, and leading up to all the way fights, I got better every time. And then obviously my last fight, I got a bit carried away, and obviously got cut up a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is though, mate, you seem to me like I'm no fucking expert by any means, but you seem to be the good. I don't know. I don't know if I love that about you, because I know you. I don't know if I'm a bit worried about that.
Yeah, the way I look at it is at the minute all I'm doing is I'm moving into fights, and I never worry about winning fights. I never got into a fight and thought, oh shit, listen. I tell you what, that's a lie actually. The only fight I thought, right, I need to really perform and fight, and rather than go in there and like play and learn, I need to go in there and just win. And that was Desmond fight. Like about that fight with that bruise. All the rest of the fights, I didn't sort of underestimate my opponents, but I knew exactly all my opponents could do, and I knew how to deal with it. And I always went in there with a game plan of being able to sort of play around a bit and sort of improve my hands and spend really good time improving my striking. And the last fight, I went in there with a good game plan, and then the guy sort of didn't react how I expected to react, and I expected him to be a big puncher and be really dangerous. And I remember I blocked one of his shots, and there was no power in it at all. I was like really surprised, and I went in and exchanged with him again, and he had nothing there. And I remember I rocked him with like 3 shots one after another, and I was like, rather than stay cold and sort of like pick them apart and do it like I did in sort of the Castle fight and start just taking people apart, mixing the knees and stuff in, I thought, oh, he's done. So I started piling in, and my hands come quite low, and I got a bit carried away because I didn't respect his power anymore, and it got to the point there where all of a sudden I was bitten twice, and I didn't know how he cut me because he the only thing he landed was a flush right hand twice, and I was just sort of like, well, I'm cut now. I can't lose a fight after I know I backed the guy, so I just sort of started taking him down and taking him apart. And I think obviously I made a little mistake where I didn't squeeze the more and tighten up, and didn't manage to break his shoulder because he had no like there was no way he was going to tap. I could tell, like I bent his arm to a certain extent, and you just know with the guys like you're just going to have to break him. And I was all I had to do with that before was literally squeeze his arm in my chest, and I would have snapped his arm. And it was just one of the things where that I could just like, look, there's 10 seconds left, screaming at me, and I was just trying to bend his arm the wrong way, and sort of I ran out of time, and then the second and third rounds I just sort of made a few mistakes and didn't finish him, and he just sort of went and hang in there, and rather than going, I should have gone the Jack Shaw route and rolled him flat and started putting ground and pound in and being a bit clinical while I was doing it. I was just like, I'm going to finish him, and I never really got it. So it's another learning experience, and I got told off after that fight. Not so much for the striking or anything, but it was just sort of the words of my dad. He put, you're not as good as I expect you to be at this point, and it's disgraceful you didn't manage to finish him. So it was one of them things. It's like, oh, okay, that's the head of my game.
That's a proper dad comment, that.
That's I mean, I suppose that's fair analysis, but your dad's not in there getting in the same situation, is he? He's not getting tickled. Yeah.
The tickling contest.
Going on to like, I'd like to go back to what you're saying about your girlfriend and her mental health issues that she had when she was. I mean, what sort of thing? I can understand the anxiety stuff, and trying new things, but like, is there any trigger of that, or is it? I mean, maybe let's set it up that we speak to your girlfriend at some point.
Yeah, I don't know where she is actually. She did text me, but she's come back from class. I minded the dog luck, so
There he is.
She's coming back somewhere. But I don't think she'll come up here. She'll probably go to my room, but I'm in my brother's room because she's destroyed my room again. So my brother's room is like inside here, mine's got clothes everywhere.
Let you guys chat a second. I'm just going to go for a quick piss.
So if I say something that isn't correct,
Mate, honestly,
I don't like to talk about it too much because she's obviously the one who suffered all more than me, and I've never really had to deal with that. But I know she was in the British team in Nottingham, and she was doing a nursing degree. So she was doing 12-hour nursing shifts, training like 3 times a day on top of that, sleeping like 4 hours, and it was something I'm sure she suffered with anxiety all the way through her life, and never really sorry I went off then, never really realised what it was, and it was just like loads of things started sort of she started hitting a lot of things wrong, and she always says to me there was no one thing that triggered it. It was just sort of a lot of things, but
an accumulation sort of thing.
Yeah, and she tried killing herself. So
really,
I'm glad she didn't. But yeah, she tried killing herself. She obviously I don't really want to go in. It's not my business now, but she's nothing.
Hold the phone there. I think we just had a bit of a RoboCop moment there, and everything was went beep. So things got on top of her a bit, and she tried to kill herself, but it's not my place for you to say stuff, and I don't really know how much she wants. Okay, that's cool. And to be honest, mate, that'd be great to actually talk to. What's your girlfriend's name?
Mammoth.
It'd be nice to talk to Madison, or yourself and Madison, on a different podcast.
Yeah,
talk about that maybe.
I think it'd be brilliant, especially with the Mammoth side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me and your brother had a chat before, and he always sort of, you said you suffered as well, so
yeah,
it's always good to speak to other people as well, and this is why she helps. One of my friends, the one who's in the Navy, he's been struggling lately with sort of depression and different things, and he really worried a few of us, so I was trying to help him as much as possible, and she ended up, I asked her to help, because obviously she understood it a lot better than I did, and they regularly meet for coffee, and she helps him talk through a lot of things, and I think she's really helped with a lot of his sort of problems, so I hate calling it problems, because it's just one of those things, but yeah, I always do this where, like...
Mate, I'll say to you now that, like, to me and you, like, two people who don't, well, I mean, maybe I do suffer with mental health issues, I don't know, but at the moment I don't. To us, we say, oh, we won't call it problems, we won't call it this, we won't call it that. To someone like Sean, or your missus, or your friend, they are problems, and it is.
That's the reason why I set up the podcast, really. It's because I've said it on fucking countless ones now, and Darren's heard me say it loads of times. I never talked about it, and I let it fucking eat me alive and that. And then Darren, me and Darren have spoke about it before. We were like, oh, should we start a podcast or something? And then I was like, one day, literally, I downloaded the app and I recorded the first episode, sent it to Darren, and he was like, fucking good on you, mate. It was about time he said something. Closest people to me didn't even know there was anything wrong. My missus knew something was wrong because I was always angry. I was always, we call it flashing in the military. I was always quick with getting angry anyway, but it was though it was heightened because every little thing would piss me off. I'd be grumpy, next minute I'd be really emotional, next minute I'd be happy and that, and then straight back down again. It just wasn't a fun place. So that's the reason why I set it up, because I just wanted people to realise that it's okay to actually talk about problems that you got, and you know there is this stigma behind it that, like we said at the beginning, and people have got to realise that if you don't talk about it, it's just going to fester and get worse, and eventually the demons that you've got inside you, like Darren's friend unfortunately took his own life, one of my own friends took his own life because they couldn't deal with it, and it's just sad really that because it's not a physical injury, people seem to go, oh, whatever. But
yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
But yeah, if she wants to come on and talk about it, talk about her experiences and things like that.
I think it'll be quite a fun podcast anyway, because it seems like
mental as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think that you can slow the conversation down and talk about mental health. You can talk about that, but I bet she's got loads of other stories. I reckon that'll be a great podcast.
She's highly intelligent as well, so
oh shit.
The reason we got on was because she was a bit of a girl when she was younger, and I always loved her for that, because I was
Hang on, we've gone Robocop again.
Gone again?
Time out.
Ask us Mace is so fast with his Welsh talking, that's what that is.
Yeah, I got to slow down as well. It's because I get excited.
Machine Gun will call you, mate. Change the nickname.
We seem to be back on Machine Gun.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's telling me I've got a poor connection. It might be my connection.
Probably.
But I think...
Shit cunt.
we seem to...
Do you know what I like about this, right? This episode. Darren was flapping earlier. He was like, we haven't had anything time to prep. Stop flapping. Just do it.
Time, Sean, because you're in slow motion.
Me and Mace are fine. It's you.
Well, you're fine now.
I'm always fine.
A bit mental a minute ago.
It's because I got excited. Mental health. I've had far too many coffees today. That's what it is. Dead Mammoth coffee, by the way, if anyone wanted to know. Quick ad.
So, before I say it, my missus is highly talented. So she's switched now from the nursing because she was doing a nursing degree in I can't remember. a Russell Group uni in Nottingham, so it like meant it was like really, really good, and she didn't really want to continue nursing back here, and she didn't want to go back to Nottingham, so she switched, and then she did like a year of uni, and got like everything, and now she's gone back. She's doing a law degree, so
Fucking hell.
like 5 dissertations so far. I think they're dissertations, and she had all firsts in them all. So she's smashing uni and smashing teaching her class, smashing making her debut, and she's in a really good place lately. So it's lovely to see, because we've been together 2 years, and when we first got together, obviously I didn't know, because we only started speaking when I was away, and I told this to Sean, like, she FaceTimed me when I was in America, and it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so I just thought she was like, you mean like a uni student who didn't want to sleep, and she was like, oh, I just can't sleep, and she was just messaging me and stuff, and we'd FaceTime and stuff, and talk, and I got back and met her family and stuff, and they were like, oh, you're really good for that, and I was like, oh, do you mean, yeah, and all this, and talk and stuff, and it wasn't until I realised that, well, she said I just really helped with everything, so she was really suffering, and I never really knew. I just sort of made her laugh, and we got on like a house on fire, and I think we spent nearly every day together since, so we don't really have much time apart from each other, so it's sort of opened my eyes to things, and my family's always been sort of like full, they're still smashing, they are wrong in things, where sort of like my dad sees it as mental health, poor mental health as being sort of like a weak point, and I think it was sort of like that iron age where they was raised to think that men have to be strong, and that you can't ever not be okay, sort of thing. And we've, like, my friends are really good on it, and we've always tried to help my friends, and sort of tried to, like, my friend in the Navy, we always try to help him and sort of let him do it. If he's not okay, then that's fantastic, and we're all there to help him, and sort of like anything he ever needs, he can always talk to us, and we'll always help. And that was the thing where I sort of glad sort of reached out through me, got in touch with him, because as good as we were with him, like, I struggle for years to understand that sometimes it's not a trigger to why you don't feel okay. Sometimes you wake up.
Yeah,
100%.
And like, that was the unit made me feel ill, where we had like a fantastic few days, and like everyone laughed and joking, and then all of a sudden she'd wake up, she'd be like, look, I don't want to do anything today, and I'd be like, oh, well, come on, we made plans, why not? She's like, look, I just really don't feel like it, and then she'd like cry a little bit and all, and like, she's one of the toughest people I've ever met in my life. So like, the girl trains, like, we trained the other day, she was holding pads to me, and she kept giving me a funny look all the time, and I was like, I just thought she was really pissed off at me. So I was like, look, what's the matter? And she was like, no, nothing, finish your round. So like, I was doing a little bit of pads there, and I mean, we were out there, I don't really sort of train in the type classes too much, and